to jump right on down to our public comment, letter C. The chair wishes to recognize any resident of the Sayre Area School District wishing to address the board about title programming or any other matter of concern or interest properly raised in a public session. We ask that you give your name, address, and subject of the content you will be addressing. And it's requested that comments be kept to 3 minutes. Moreover, please note that comments relative to private student or employee matters should be directed directly to the superintendent outside of this meeting. So on that note, if there's anyone that would like to address the board at this time, they can do so. Going once? No, no one? Okay, we'll move right along. We've got a Redskin Spotlight Award at this time, and the Sayre Area School Board of Directors would like to recognize Miss Emily Chilson with a Redskin Spotlight Award for receiving the highest honor a Girl Scout can earn, the Girl Scout Gold Award. The award is earned after a Girl Scout spends at least 80 hours working on a substantial project. I don't know if I said that right, substantial. Okay. That impacts her community. So, Emily, congratulations. Yep.
Right here in the front. Would you like to talk about your project at all, share with the community what you did? I love hearing your best.
Hi, I'm Emily Chilson. So I made a costume closet for the drama department as my Gold Award project. I basically just redid the entire room, created shelves, racks, and organized the entire area. It took almost 100 hours for me to complete the project in total. And yeah, I just wanted to make a community in theater.
Well, Emily, at this time, we'd like to give you the certificate of participation on behalf of the Sayre High School and Redskins for your achievement as a Girl Scout. Like I said, it's been a pleasure to watch your show. I've known this lady for a long time, so thank you so much, Emily. Congratulations to you. Go ahead. I don't have
Okay, we're gonna face Mom first. I'm sure she's gonna want a picture.
Okay.
Okay.
Very good. Okay. Dr. Delosio. Congratulations again. All right. Another special presentation at this time. This evening, Mrs. Amy Rancourt's presentation will be on the Sayre Hut after-school program and the valuable opportunities this program provides to the students of Sayre. Mrs. Rancourt.
Very close to having feedback, so we're trying to avoid that for everybody.
Mr. Hendrick told me I should use my teacher voice if this microphone didn't work. Good evening, my name is Amy Rancourt. I'm the site coordinator and teacher for our elementary after-school program. Most of you know me from either having your children or grandchildren in 3rd and 5th grades. I'm here this evening to present to you a showcase of what the Redskin Hut after-school program encompasses and how we're servicing the students of Snyder Elementary. This program is structured to be an enriching extension of the child's school day and a bridge with the classroom teacher to assist and focus on academic skills and content areas where a child might need extra guidance. There are 9 content areas that are pillars of the program: engineering and math, nutrition and health, nature, world cultures, art study, music study, environmental stewardship and sustainability, sewing, woodworking, and handcrafts, and number 9, inventions. Our program started the first week of September with an open enrollment of 60 students, 1st through 6th grades, in kindergarten joining us in late October. The program quickly filled to capacity. We currently carry an average afternoon's attendance of 95%. Our largest population of students are from the 3rd and 5th grades respectively of 14 students. One would think that the 3rd graders would have seen enough of Mrs. Sutrick and myself by 5:30 at night, but I guess not. I prepared a short presentation of some of the activities that the students have enjoyed since September. I have also a few students with me tonight that would like to show you, after the presentation, some of our program's creations. This project was part of our recycling sustainability unit, putting a fun spin on art from trash. Each student created a torn newspaper dog or cat with a special study on eyes. As an extension of our art from trash, the students created posable figures from recycled tinfoil, putting each one into a pose that they might do themselves. They then cast a beam of light onto the figure and traced the shadow. This project was an absolute hit and a definite highlight of the program. With a donation of 2 bushels of apples from Small Dog Orchards, the students used the program's kitchen center to cook applesauce and prepare 6 apple pies. This slide speaks for itself with the beaming smiles of pride of the students. Here is a science project that the students look forward to each year. Teams create mini lava lamps in a bag using a highlighter for the fluorescence, water, oil, and an Alka-Seltzer tablet to activate the bubbling action, and then placed on top of a black light. One of the comments at the end of this video was they wanted to know if it was radioactive. This is another STEM activity. The students designed and cut out spiral snakes. The snakes were placed above 4 lit candles on a skewer to promote a spinning action from the rising heat currents. This activity stemmed from a discussion on the thermal vortexes that birds such as eagles use to gain altitude. Snowy owls were part of our recent nature unit, and this week we're culminating the unit with a dissection of owl pellets, a favorite of the kids and not so much the adults once the bones and feathers start appearing. We found a can of rubber cement, I think it must have been from the 1970s, in the back of a closet at Snyder. Mrs. Canfield guided the students in this abstract art of applying the cement and then using a watercolor technique to highlight and feature the trail of cement when it was lifted. Character building, citizenship, and kindness are at the backbone of our program. In September, the students created themselves as a superhero with beads and pipe cleaners. We then assembled them into team mobiles with student-driven paragraphs describing their heroes' attributes. In November, we had a STEM challenge at Thanksgiving for the team that could build the fastest turkey rocket. The challenge was what team could propel their turkey down a suspended fishing line the farthest. Our biggest challenge was blowing up the balloons and who was going to tie them off. I'd like to acknowledge the ladies that show up day in and day out with the smiles and dedication to this program. Mrs. Susan Sutrick, Mrs. Wanda Canfield, Mrs. Rachel Bradley, and Mrs. Erin Kroll. The students and I want to thank them from the bottom of our hearts. I'd also like to thank the administration and you, the board members, for recognizing the need within our community for the continuation of such an important and enriching program. Thank you.
I want to say thank you. You know, when I think about all the years of service you've given to us as the Sayre community as a teacher, you also are, you know, the site coordinator for this program. You've done it for the past several years, and the board supported bringing this program forward when we did not receive the grant, so I thank you for staying on as that. In addition to all the other things that you do in your life, and you're continuing your studies, I know that as well from you, so your dedication to the field of education, thank you. Thank you so much.
And again, this is one court I was nice, correct? Because remember, you let me in the door this evening. Okay. But again, I can thank you so much for all that you do for the students here and the staff that you have working with you that you've shown us up there. Continue the great work because, like I said, I'm amazed by what our students can do. I thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, we're all done with spotlights and presentations. So we'll move on to the consent agenda at this time. Number 2 is the minutes from the December board meeting. Number 3, the instruction, the field trip request that are presented. Letter B for district volunteers. We've got a list of a few people that are volunteers. Letter C, the letter of collaborative agreement between McKee and the Therapeutic Family Care Program and the Sayre Area School District as presented. Number 4, the treasurer's report from the Finance Committee for the cafeteria, capital projects, federal programs, and general fund. Letter B, the Berkheimer tax report as presented. And letter C, a motion to approve the agreement between the Small Beginnings Physical Therapy LLC and the Sayre Area School District to provide the school district students with physical therapy services as presented. Number 5 is for personnel. We've got a list of personnel to also be voted upon, I guess. So do we have a motion and a second for the consent agenda? So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Questions or comments on any of the items on the consent agenda? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? So moved. Down to item number 6, pay the bills. I hope everyone had a chance to take a look at the bills to be paid. We have a motion and a second to pay the bills.
Motion. Second.
We have a motion and a second to pay the bills. Any questions, comments? If not, Mrs. Macheco, can we get a roll call, please?
Sure. We'll begin with Mrs. Agnew. Yes, except I abstain on number 3, please. Mrs. Blythe? Yes. Mr. Hadlock?
Yes.
Mr. Hickey?
Yes.
Mrs. Metz? Yes. Mr. Petrini?
Yes.
Mr. Root?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes. Place. Yep. Okay, letter B for board representation nominations. We need to have a nomination for PSBA liaison, for the Northern Tier Career Center representative, as well as the IU-17 representative. Currently, I'll read these off. PSBA liaison is myself, the Northern Tier Career Center rep is myself, and IU number 17 representative, Mrs. Agnew. So do we have any nominations first for the PSBA liaison?
Nominate Ron Cole.
Okay. Do we have any other nominations for PSBA liaison? Okay, see that we don't have anyone. Now down to the Northern Tier Career Center representative. We have a nomination.
Mr. Hickey?
I nominate Ron.
Okay. Any other person interested in becoming a representative for the Career Center? Next is the Intermediate Unit number 17 representative.
Nominate Deb Agnew.
Anyone else that would like to, a nomination for the IU 17 representative? We have to vote on this? Okay. We can do this all together.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do-
Since there's none that have two.
Okay,
we
thank
do all
you.
together.
Okay. So if that's the case, Mrs. Lucheko, we need a roll call on this.
All right, we'll begin with Mrs. Blake,
Yes.
Mr. Hadlock,
Yes.
Mr. Hickey,
Yes.
Mrs. Kmetz,
Yes.
Mr. Petrini,
Yes.
Mr. Root,
Yes.
Mrs. Agnew. Yes. Mr. Cole.
Yes. All right, moving down to reports, Mrs. Ely, good evening. The high school principal's report.
Good evening. I hope everyone had a wonderful holiday. We welcomed our new SRO, Officer Spencer, today here at the high school. He had shadowed with Officer Burlingame several times this year, so our students are already somewhat familiar with him. And I just want to say welcome to the Sayre family, Officer Spencer. Believe it or not, Q2 ends next Wednesday, the 15th. Our school counselor, Mrs. Schreiber, took a group of 9th and 10th graders to tour NTCC before we went on holiday break. That was a great opportunity for our students to be exposed to the amazing programs that are offered there and start those discussions about what career field they might be interested in. Our high school students will be taking part in the National Youth Tobacco Survey that is being conducted through the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. This will take place this Wednesday. It is online and will take about 20 minutes. Classes have been randomly selected by the NYTS to take part, and the information was sent out to parents in December about this. Congratulations to our FBLA team. We have 17 students that will be heading to Hershey for states. We're very proud of their work. And rehearsals are starting this week for the spring musical Guys and Dolls. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mrs. Ely. Assistant Principal's report, Mr. Howie.
Good evening. We had one day of school and no real discipline issues. That's the assistant principal side of the house. Athletics over the holiday break. We won the boys Christmas basketball tournament. First time in, I believe, 21 years. There was some argument there whether it was 11 or 23 or something. I think it was 21 is the actual time, but please correct me if I'm wrong on that. Our high school wrestling team, our 171 pounder, has won the last two tournaments he's been in. I was at a youth tournament in Tawanda yesterday and saw some of our young wrestlers from Sayre, and they were competing with a lot of heart, and a couple of them placed very well. Girls basketball, I mean, everything's up and running. We're about to open at Monday of next week. We will open up our sports signups for the 25-26 school year. Mostly so we can get a good handle on what do our numbers look like, give our coaches a chance to get out there and make sure we have people coming on board, because we're winning, we're competing, and we want to keep that ball rolling, and the tide is high right now. So welcome back from Christmas, and it's time to go to work to get the sports up and running for spring and next year. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Howie. Mrs. Morrell, the Snyder School report.
Good evening, everyone. I hope you've had a wonderful break. Mrs. Ely and Mr. Howie have checked off some of the things on my list, so my report will be quite short. I'd like to thank kindergarten for putting on the Christmas program. I had a lot of positive feedback from the community members, and they also shared that with our elementary school, so it was a fun time had by all, so thank you for that. The two ladies here also should be congratulated for arranging our Santa pictures. I was even on the nice list this year somehow, so that worked out well for me. I had an extra Christmas present. We also did some decorating the hallways, so thank you for coming to Snyder and judging that contest. I do have to say though, I have to give a shout out to everybody who participated in that program. The school looked just beautiful, and there was so much time and effort that was put into that, so in my mind there was winners on all sides. So thank you to everyone who took the time before and after school outside of their days to participate in that. It really brightened up the school and brought a lot of smiles to everyone. So that's all that I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Morel.
She also has 2 students going to the Invention Convention that qualified for states
Yes.
that Mrs. Lezak did.
Wow.
Yes, Dr. Delosio has that on her list, so I didn't want to steal her thunder, but we've got it. We made sure.
Thank you, Mrs. Morel.
You're welcome.
Short report for PSBA. I want to make mention that this year's PSBA is celebrating its 130th anniversary. So I'm sure that they'll be doing a few things throughout the year with that. So I'll keep you posted, or look on your different websites that you go through with PSBA. I also want to make mention that there are 35 micro-learning classes, brand new, out on your MyPSBA site as well, so you might want to check them out. One of the good things about that is it checks out, I would say, everyday things with our business that we conduct here. So again, it would be a good refresher if there's something that you folks would like to take a look at. Advocacy Day is coming up in April, and also there's a PSSI training coming up in March as well. And I think that's everything I got from PSBA this evening for you folks. Now I'll ask for committee reports. Anyone that would like to give a report from their committees this evening?
I have an athletic committee report. It is lengthy, so bear with me. It's been a long time since I've done one of these. Okay, so I'm going to reiterate kind of on Mr. Howie. Sorry, Mr. Howie. But first, basketball. Girls won their home opener. That was their first win in 2 years, and they're continuing to put effort to improve every game. Their practices are great. They're really working hard. Their next home game is this Wednesday, so please come out and show your support if you can. Boys won the Valley Christmas Tournament. The last time Sarah won this tournament was in 2001, Mr. Howie. I only know because I have the trophy physically in my hand. They're working hard to compete this year, and they did set really big goals for themselves, and they're working hard to achieve them. If you haven't come out to watch one of their games, you should do so. They are very impressive. Their next home game is January 16th. For cheer, they are in district competition this weekend, so good luck to them and all of their coaches. Wrestling, boys and girls are competing this weekend in Elmira. Again, Jordan Brown won back-to-back tournaments in the 172-pound division over the Christmas break, and hoping that third time is a charm this weekend, so good luck to him. Swimming, Olivia Thompson took second and third in multiple events during the Elk Lake Invitational and qualified for districts in 3 events. Dominic Music took 5th in his event and qualified for districts as well. In track, Marco placed 3rd in the 400 and 9th in the 200, which is very impressive. Rose placed 3rd in the 55 hurdles during their event in East Stroudsburg last week. For rec sports, basketball is showing a lot of improvement, and the increased participation has helped a ton. I have to give all the accolades to their coaches. It takes a lot to organize that program. There are a lot of boys in that program, and they do a very good job. They do have about a month or so left in their season. Wrestling has gone to multiple tournaments. Gavin Roof yesterday took first place. Jackson Morgan took third. McKenna Ruvalo recently took a second and a third in tournaments she has attended as well. Floor hockey is in year 2 of team competition, and there are enough kids to field 4 teams this year, which is very impressive, especially given the numbers in basketball, girls and boys. So the future of Sayre athletics is very bright with these little Redskins, and it's fun to watch them play. Hot off the press, right before I got here, I was told that Nick Pelicano was named first team All-State Special Teams and honorable mention receiver All-State team, which is very impressive. So congratulations to him. He is quite the athlete. Many of our student athletes have been nominated to Athlete of the Week by our local news stations, and Riley Lance won her nomination in December. So congratulations to her. Coach Blythe, Nick Pelicano, and Ryan Ressler sat down with Pat McDonald last week during a radio interview to discuss the pride of winning the Valley Christmas Tournament and what it means to have our community rally behind our athletes. If you went to that game, it was a packed house. I don't think I've ever seen the gym that full. It was quite the game. It was very good. Our athletics meeting at the end of Q1 was informative, and we were able to bring a lot of the coaching staff together to discuss improvements, successes, and off-season work to continue growing our athletic and rec programs. I encourage you to attend these meetings as a parent, teacher, and coach. We discuss a lot, and we put a lot of brains together, and we come up with some really good ideas. Looking ahead, we are looking forward to the basketball tournament at Epiphany and the remainder of the winter sports seasons. Please be sure to show your school spirit and Redskin pride by coming to games and events and cheering on your fellow classmates and your students. The first issue of the Snyder Scoop will be coming out soon, and the Redskin Rundown is a new addition to the newspaper this year that highlights athletics in our district. That is it.
The game on January 8th is also invited for the rec basketball program. January. Correct?
Girls, yeah.
Yep, the girls program is their rec night, so the rec girls are ready for that game.
Thank you, sir.
Yep. Chris, you did great with the girls this year.
Thanks.
Yes, it was very well organized. Thank you for that.
Anyone else with a committee report that they'd like to give? Okay, well, you might as well hear what's on my mind here this evening. Excuse me. That's one thing my grandkids gave me was they decided they could pop in a hole, so sorry about that. That'll be a fun. Anyway, I do want to make mention that this is the School Board Directors Month, and it's an honor to serve with these folks up here at the table. You know, we work through a lot of difficult things. We work through some fairly easy things, but like I said, we all understand, and we do. Again, we work great together as a team, and I want to say thank you to our board members for that. Also, being with seeing with the new year, it's great to continue to see active growth here in our school district. A couple of examples again: Mrs. Ranford and her Hut program over at Snyder. It's great to see how our kids are learning to develop skills and learning and having fun at it, and that's a main thing. Again, I think of Miss Emily down here. Again, thank you. Like I said, we appreciate you being active as well, and I know that you've been active here in the high school as well as outside in the community. Thank you for that, Emily, and like I said, keep up the good work there. Got two great parents there too. Pass that along. The music program over the holidays, it was terrific. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to get to the elementary program. I came over for the high school program and I'll tell you what, they blew the roof off this place. I mean, the voices were great, the instrumentals were great. It was a very good program, very well attended. Also, it was great coming over for the Christmas tournament, as Mrs. Blythe had mentioned. And the big thing there, it was so good to see school spirit there. Lots of kids over there, and they were, they were vocal for our teams for a change. And it was good to see that. And like I said, I can't wait to see what's going to come up throughout the rest of the year, honestly. Other things coming up, I know we've got forensics, we've got scholarship challenge, the baseball team, track team. I could keep going on, but like I said, hopefully we're going to have a good 2025. And like I said, it's a pleasure to serve with all of you here, and I appreciate our teachers, our aides, professional staff and support staff. I think that covers it all. But thank you so much, and I'm looking forward to a great 2025. Dr. Delosio.
Okay, so I'd like to wish everyone a Happy New Year. I have a few things to report on. I know that we had asked for some audio equipment, and that has been installed and is ready to roll. Mr. Hendrick had given me a thumbs up. He's been checking the audio out there for those who are watching on YouTube. So we have a direct link right into the iPad so that the audio is better for those that might be listening out there in the community or world. The Christmas concerts, as you said, I was blown away at the music program. Miss Carrie Ackerman and Taylor Wenzel did an outstanding job, and I couldn't wait to get here the next morning and send them both an email and congratulate them. And it was amazing to see what our students put together that night of the concert. I know you were on stage that night as well. I was filled with pride. The sound that came off this stage from our high school students was amazing. And we had staff, parents, community members in attendance, and well done, well done. During the month of December, I got to go down to the CTC, where our culinary students, some of ours and the other 3 schools that we participate with there, to have a Christmas luncheon for the superintendents that attended, and it was well done as well. And the new culinary teacher is doing a fantastic job. Congratulations to Officer Burlingame on his career, and well wishes for his retirement. If you didn't take a look at the send-off that we gave to him in both buildings on our Facebook page, it was well received and kind of a tearjerker. And welcome to Officer Spencer as well, so thank you for that, Mrs. Ely. Mrs. Lezak, another leader amongst us. As I look around the room here and I see Mrs. Rancourt and Mrs. Ramsey and Mrs. Romberger and Mrs. Lamanna and Ms. Podolinsky back there. We have a lot of leaders amongst our team, and the phrase of, it came to me as I was sitting here tonight, just that it takes a village. And right here we have many of our village leaders, and there's many more that are out there. Mrs. Lezak is one of them. I received an email from her over holiday break because, Mrs. Lezak's not going to take a full holiday break. She continues to do the work that she does. And she had students that submitted inventions to their own inventions to the Invention Convention, and we have 4 students headed to states from Sayre. So in February, they'll be going to the Hershey Lodge to present with several other school districts out of the 500 school districts across our state. Ada Mosier for her bully button, Alyssa Mosier for Thunder Vest Invention. I can't wait to see these in action. I might have to go down and see it in person when they do their presentation. Then there was a team of Nora Hadlock, Emery, I want to say that correctly, Volker, and Aiden Vermilia with a nut nose invention. I don't know what all these inventions are, but these 3 inventions were selected out of all of the entries, and so these 5 students are headed down to the Invention Convention in February. It's a mouthful, right? So they'll be representing Sayre and doing it quite proudly, so I appreciate them. And Mrs. Lezak for all the leadership that she is doing as well. I did too get over to the elementary school multiple times in December, and the transformation of the floors, I think it was 6th grade, the ski lift. That just, I really like that one. All of them were great, but the ski lift kind of liked it. And the Grinch scared me. I happened to go on another day, there was a Grinch at the school running around, and Grinch got me too. I hope I didn't yell too loud and interrupt instruction, Mrs. Burrell. Student Council did a lot of service through December as well. They continue to be busy, so thank you ladies for continuing to do all the work that you do outside of the classroom and inside of the classroom. but it takes a lot to get it all done, and I appreciate all that work that's happening. And I also remember, I didn't get up here because I was busy with something else. I don't want to say what I was doing because, you know, probably attorney privilege of some sort, but Quiz League. There was something that happened up here on the stage. Was it Quiz League or Scholarship Challenge? Quiz League. So Mr. Roy had the Quiz League here on the Friday before break?
Thursday.
Friday?
Thursday.
Before break, and Mr. Katrini came, right? Who else was on your team?
Mr. Claypool.
Mr. Claypool, our business manager, and anyone else?
Mr. Hendrick.
Mr. Handrick, okay.
Mr. Burlingame.
Mr. Officer Burlingame, all right. Anyone else? Who did you play up against?
Mr. Howard.
Oh, Mr. Howie.
How could I forget Mr. Howell? The anchor of the whole team.
Any females on this team? No females on the team? No? All right. Who did you compete against?
Kids.
The students. Who won that?
We smoked them. We smoked them, didn't we, Mr. Claypool?
We did.
Oh, do you remember what the score was?
We gave no quarter.
It was a good time.
Did you have a good time? Did you have to pull out that trivia? Was that what trivia from the?
Huh? Oh, yeah, we
Useless information.
useless information, which we all have a lot of. Apparently.
All right, well, I want to give a shout out for giving your time to have that competition. I think the students really enjoyed all that time. I want to share with the community and the board that our next meeting will be in the library because they'll be starting play practice, and it will continue in the library until the musical is over, so that will get started. And
The 20th as well.
so the next meeting will be in the library, and everyone from then on until the musical has occurred. Okay,
We have
so
that written down.
the next one. So Tammy must not have had that information because she typed that up before we went on break, so I did confirm that.
Okay.
All right, and then I sent an email to the board today about subcommittees, and I just wanted to check with the board, does anyone want to change their committee, make any adjustments, or do you want to remain where you are? Okay, I'll get that posted. Thanks, Mr. Cole.
Thank you, Dr. Delosio. Again, future meetings, I'm glad Dr. Delosio mentioned that, but our next Board of Directors meeting will be on January 20th at 7 p.m. up at the high school library. Our Finance Committee meeting will be on the 13th of January, a week from tonight, 5:30 down at the administrative offices, and the Building and Grounds Committee also will be meeting that same evening, 6:30 p.m. also at the administrative office downstairs in the conference room there. So if there's anything else to be brought before the board before we adjourn, if not, we'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion.